Ready? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Hi. So today I've got Zoe with me, and today I've actually been procrastinating filming today just in general, and the reason I have been procrastinating is because ever since I put that video up 2 videos ago, I believe, this week, all about just my marriage and being married for 10 years and just all of that stuff. I don't know how to summarize. I guess I could call it by the title, like, and why I didn't talk to my husband for 2 weeks, which was in the video, but was definitely not the whole point of the video per se. But ever since then, I have been excited that so many of you, responded and felt something towards that video, but also just nervous. Let's just state the obvious. I didn't expect that video to get that many views. Like, once it started going, I was like, oh no. Like, I remember that day I was like, nobody knew this story. And now, like, a lot of people know the story. That's not true, not nobody. A lot of our friends knew it. And even still, like, I have to just state for the record the obvious fact that, like, hearing a 30-minute story is not the same as, like, living 10 years of my life, or even just that one scenario. But it is a little bit of a weird feeling. And you guys know, if you've been following my channel for a long time, I really like to talk. I love talk. I actually went through a period of my life where, side note, but that was kind of a sad reason, I stopped listening to all music for like 2 years and only listened to talk radio. So talking, conversation, all of that is definitely like a passion of mine as well. And I feel like that's kind of taken a step back on my channel within the last like year or two. And there's so many reasons for that. I think that, I have a lot of interests first off, but I think the obvious one that I'll just throw out there is that the more you talk, the more you are inviting people's, I guess, opinions back, or feedback, or whatever you want to call it. And it can be a little bit scary because things can be taken a different way than you meant it. They can be misconstrued, or just straight up people can just disagree with you, which is totally allowed, but that can take a little bit of getting used to acknowledge and realize that, like, just because other people disagree with you doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It just means, like, okay, it's a perspective, it's worth kind of weighing, but it's okay to have different opinions. So I haven't talked as much over the last, like I said, year, 2 years. And Dan has been telling me for like the last 6 months or more, you need to start talking more. You love it. You love listening to books. You love listening to other people talking. I watch YouTube videos where other people talk and talk and talk. Actually, that's the majority of the videos that I have watched my entire time on YouTube have been videos where people talk and talk and talk and talk and talk different things, interviews, really personal stuff, lectures. I just like it. So anyways, I have been a little bit nervous. If you hear a little pitter pattering, obviously that's Zoe. I've only got that rug in this room right now, and her nails really need to be cut, honestly. So okay, today it was really hard to pick about what to talk on next, because I do want to do a pain update, but I haven't done it because I feel like I've been dropping so many little like things in all my videos. I'm like just kind of waiting a second to do a video solely about that. A lot of you guys had more marriage questions, but I didn't want to do another marriage video like right back to back, although one will be coming soon. I've been looking at like some of the major questions you guys had in that video. But today what I wanted to talk about is kind of the concept of like fear, procrastination, not getting something started, and just like planning out your day and being organized. Like, I guess that's the best way to word it, because what I'm about to say is probably a little bit like different than what you think I'm about to say. Maybe not. Oh, I love these earrings, by the way. These are like those little ear crawler like pieces, and I love these. I got them off Nordstrom Rack. Hey! Okay, so if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you would know that something about me that I really, like and value is productivity, getting stuff done, laying out and imagining the things that you want to achieve, and then going after them. Now, that kind of aside, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, another thing that you have maybe noticed is that, or maybe if you watched this video in my some of my depression videos, I talked about how I have thought my whole life that everybody, when they wakes up like just in some kind of pain, like everybody's got pain, and that it takes serious effort to get out of bed. That's kind of a side tangent because I actually realized, I ended up finding out that I had clinical depression from just years of chronic pain, and it had thrown my brain out of whack from battling that for so long. But another thing is that I've always come from the perspective of like, you take life by the reins. Like, that's what you do. You decide what you're gonna do, and then you go for it. You lay out your to-do list, you tackle that to-do list, you get up, you go, and you really push for the things that you want. And I have to say, going into this, that there is still a really big part of me that feels that way and agrees with that mentality, I guess you would say, that you do have to kind of lay things out that you want to do, decide what you want. If you don't track things, I do think it can become really difficult to get anything done, because how do you keep going on a forward path? How do you develop any kind of plan? Like, you do have to keep, in my opinion, things tracked to a degree. But something that I started to realize when I, figured out through doctors, like, oh, I have clinical depression, when I started kind of rerouting my life, and I had this whole, point of like, what am I gonna do? I'm really sad. And okay, she's driving me crazy. I think I need to let her out of the room because she's really distracting me. Okay, actually, I have to say this again before I keep going. Same thing I felt in that last super chatty, my marriage video. I really hope that regardless of the words that I say in this video, that God is able to speak through me to you and give you what you need and give you encouragement. I just felt like I had to say that before I proceed and start blabbering my face off. So anyways, okay, so yeah, I've been through a lot. I'm actually still trying to figure out how to convey and piece together the experiences and feelings that I've gone through over the last few years, because obviously if you look at your own life, you will feel the same way, that things are complicated, and what kind of leads to the next thing is sometimes like hard to pinpoint, what made your thought process happen a certain way. It's just, I'm still kind of piecing things together. But that being said, I started noticing within the last year, 2 years maybe, through all of this, that something that would happen to me a lot would be I would make a to-do list, and I would get up in the morning and I wouldn't want to do it. But I wouldn't want to do it to like a totally different degree than like I haven't wanted to do things previously in my life. Like, I don't want to do it. Like, it wasn't like that. It was like, I can't do this. Like this overwhelming, just, I can't. I don't want to. I can't. I don't even know if this is what I should be doing. I don't even know if I want to be doing any of this. Like, what am I even working towards? And just like a confusion would overcome me at the start of the day that I don't know, I was just noticing this feeling of confusion a lot more within these last couple years than I've ever noticed them before. Prior to that, I feel like I would have a lot of clarity about like what I wanted to do when, and all of a sudden it just became this feeling of like I'm literally repeating myself. Okay, my camera just stopped recording. Anyways, this feeling of confusion would come over me, and it was different than I felt at other points in my life. And I've mentioned my therapist, counselor, person quite a bit whenever I do talking videos, but that's because she is one of like the main people that I bounce like my deepest, darkest thoughts off of. And that's actually a separate thing. I can't decide if I should do like a full video on how to find a therapist. It's really, I don't know. I guess I don't have that much to say, but I can do that if you guys want me to, because a lot of people have been asking like, how did you find your therapist? So I can talk about that. But anyways, so I was talking with my therapist one day about this, and she, to those of you that don't know, my therapist is also the same faith that I am. So she's a Christian as well. And she said to me, she was like, you're making these plans for your day. This is like the gist of what she said. I always hate saying she said, because I'm like, thank God I'm not using her name, because I'm probably misquoting her all the time. But she said to me, she was like, why are you making forcing these plans to happen for your day? Like, have you started your day or started that list by asking God what he wants you to do on that day? Because sometimes we have plans for the day to happen, and that's not what is supposed to happen or what he wants you to do. And she was like, maybe there's a conflict you're feeling there. Maybe that's what's going on. And I remember when she said that, I was like, wow, I feel really dumb, because that seems like really Captain Obvious. And I just wasn't doing it. I wasn't asking God to like, please show me what I'm supposed to do today, or to give me a sensitive spirit that follows his lead for how he wants the day to play out. I was like this more bullheaded. And I realized also that I haven't always been like that. Like there were points in the past where I had that combination of like specificity in terms of what I wanted to get done, what I wanted my day to look like, but I was simultaneously open to God taking the day where it needed to be, because I knew and believed in my heart that whatever he had for my day, like that was what the best thing was going to be, or that was what it was supposed to be. Random things, like one thought that comes into my head was that like I was running errands one day and I was like, you know, going, and I was at the gym and I had my lessons coming up and I was doing things and I had to make a quick stop by Target. And when I was walking through Target, I felt like I was supposed to walk up to this person and ask them if I could pray for them. And I remember I felt really like, oh no, not only first off, like not now, like of all of that, like not now, I'm in a hurry and I'm in Target and this person is gonna think that I'm really weird. But also like, I just knew, I don't even remember the point I was gonna make, so now I'm going on a different point, that I needed to listen. And I knew that that was what was most important. And even though I had my plans, that God's plans obviously are the most important, and I have to be willing, this is the way that I thought, had to be willing to lay down what I thought was best for my day to follow what he put in front of me to do, what I felt like I was being prompted to do. So, side note to end that story, as I'm sure you could imagine, it ended up being this totally crazy, like miraculous thing where like I walked up to the girl. And by the way, I always preface anytime I feel like God wants me to do something, because I know everybody's coming from different backgrounds, and just because of how I feel, I'm like, hey, I know this is gonna seem a little weird because I'm just walking next to you in Target, but I feel like God told me that I'm supposed to pray with you. And so I wanted to know if I could pray with you right now, pray over you, pray for you, whatever you want to call it. Side note, the few times this has happened, no one has ever said no. That's just kind of a side note. But wait, what was I going to say? Okay, so I really literally don't remember. I don't know, but I did that with this girl. It was crazy, her whole story of like, she had just found out that day that her parents were getting a divorce and she didn't look upset. Can we just talk about that? On a side note, I wasn't like, this girl looks upset, I think I need to do this. It happened the same as every other thing that I felt God has dropped in my life, told me to do, put in my life, whatever, random, out of the clear blue sky. And I feel like between my own like faith issues, although I don't even want to call them faith issues, I want to call it curiosity over the last few years of just trying to figure out all of a sudden like, well, wait, what do I believe? And a lot of that also was spurred by getting onto YouTube, by coming into this public forum where the way I dress, the way I look, my opinions, my beliefs, everything was questioned or attacked, depending on how you want to look at it, by people of all different kinds of beliefs, thoughts, opinions, and also a lot of the people that kind of were saying things that were hurting me and that I didn't agree with were other people who were in the same faith as me. And so because of that, I went through, I think, this whole journey over the last few years of like, what do I believe? Why do I believe this? Actually, I was having a conversation with my friend Bonnie Kate last week, and I think the best way to summarize it is that journey took me from a place of, rather than seeing faith and the church as people, seeing it more as, you know, the word and the Bible and God, and that being what I believe in and what my faith is. And the people there are just like normal people like everyone else, and they're gonna hurt me just like everyone else. And I can't make or break my faith, if that makes sense. It doesn't make sense, but I think you get what I mean, on people that are at a church, because they're not why I'm there. And obviously community and connecting is so important, but I needed to find out why I believe what I believe. Just so you know, also in full transparency, while I do consider myself a Christian, a Christ follower, actually studying different faiths and learning and questioning has become like a favorite of mine now. It used to be something that I was like terrified of, and because I never wanted to explore and then find out like, oh my gosh, I'm wrong. Everything I believed was wrong. But now I've gotten to a place where I'm like, what does it matter? Like if I dive down these roads and it turns out I'm wrong, then like what, like, does that matter at all? Like, no. If anything, I'm either gonna find that out or I'm gonna find out more information and, you know, facts and stories and things to help feed my faith. Like, it's pretty much only going to be one of the two. And also studying all these different faiths and obviously studying my own faith more. And I'm currently in the process of reading the Bible from start to finish because I've only ever done like Bible studies and in church, and you know, I've never read it in chronological order. But doing all of that also helps foster a sense of like love and acceptance and I don't know, just taking the fear out of curiosity has really been a great thing for me. But to bring all of that back to what I was talking about before, about planning out my day, I stopped doing that. And I think it's because of all of those things that were listed. And something, you know, when my therapist said that to me, like, have you tried to say, like, God, help this day to be what you want it to be, even though obviously one could argue that the day is going to be whatever God wants it to be. It's like I said, help me to be open to having the kind of day and doing the kind of things that you want me to do. And that's something that ever since she said that, I have really been trying to start my days that way and trying to just approach my days from the perspective of everything that I literally just said. So yeah, so not only have I been trying to do that, but also I think in this season that I'm in right now, it's like it's a changing season, obviously, because I just moved to Nashville. Things are shifting. I was about to say changing again. And I'm overall just trying to approach things from a place of like not trying to not be so afraid. And when I feel fear, I can feel it. You know, there's that saying like, feel the fear and do it anyways. I think there's a whole book actually that's the title, Feel the Fear, but do it anyways. And that is also something that I'm trying to do. You know, being here, I keep saying that I'm like not going to say that I'm here in Nashville for music. And that's because I mean, maybe I haven't said this online, but that's because I'm really not in one sense of the word. Like, I'm not set on doing music, hell or high water, like that's it. But I am here for music in the sense that like, I'm not going to say no to opportunities unless they feel like the wrong opportunity. I'm going to say yes to all the fun opportunities that I get that involve music. I am going to do more musical things because I'm around so many inspiring people that are like not only so talented, but they're just like so fun to hang out with and jam, and we have the same passions. And I think that even though a big part of tackling my fear was just, you know, coming here, was also just has been doing more music over the last few years. If you really want to go back, it was getting on YouTube in the first place. Even though I've been tackling it and working on it this whole time, really my whole life, now is a time also that I'm working on it, because I think it's really easy when you want to do something to get to a place of like, first off, you start pouring so much hope and emotion on it. Like, I'm so excited. I love this. You put so much energy into it. And I feel like there's this balance that has to be there of like a little bit of a disconnect of like not caring. I don't know. This might be really bad, unhealthy advice, but I'm just going to say it. Of like not caring because let's use music and me for an example. I just don't think it's like, obviously music is important and soul encompassing, and like that's not the word, but like I just love it. But it's also like, well, but the most important things to me are my relationship with God, my relationship with my husband, my relationships with others. Like, there's just so much more that's more important than that. But also not using those things as a reason to stop yourself from moving towards something, because I think sometimes we can use fear and then say all those things like, oh, it's not that important. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's really not that important, but your happiness, I mean, that is important. And if you're going after something that isn't going to hurt you, that's not innately harmful, which I know, you know, everything is like up for debate with that. But if you're going after those things, like, you are going to have to push past some fear and just do it even though you feel afraid. Actually, fear is sometimes a great indicator for like something. Like, why do you feel so, that's kind of the place that I got to with music. I know I didn't finish that sentence, but like, why do I feel so afraid of it? Why? Because I think I just developed this belief that I suck so much, which also, side note, I realized, especially in the field of art, doesn't matter. I had that realization. I was like, why am I not doing something just because I think I suck at it when it doesn't matter if I suck at it? Like, I had that awakening. I'm like, I'm not doing brain surgery. I'm not doing anything that matters if I'm bad. Like, you permanently messed up my life. Like, no, nobody's gonna care if I can actually sing or play the piano or not. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be the one that cares. And to top that off, who knows what God can do through something that you deem silly and are too afraid to do anyways. Because I think that so many people have things like that in their life that they want to do, that they feel an attraction towards, but then they will label it as silly, either just because of preconceived notions, whatever, or because of fear. But I think that that's not good, because what I just said 20 seconds ago, who knows what can happen in your life, what God can do through something that seems silly to you, something that seems like you'll also never get it maybe, or that you'll never be able to do it. And, oh no, now she's back at the door. What? She's back. Oh man. Also, our neighbor has a really nice sports car that I never saw until right now. He's pulling away in it. Anyways, so yeah, you just don't know. And on top of that, like, if you brush things out of your life that you enjoy because you deem them silly, or because you're too afraid, or because you think you're bad at it, you're unnecessarily punishing yourself, and also like stealing joy from yourself in way more ways than just that one thing. Because if you mentally tell yourself that you have to be really good at something to have fun with it, like, so I guess the point that I'm saying is that it's bigger than just that one thing. And I think that that's a not good thought. I was going to say a dangerous thought for your mental sanity and health, that if you tell yourself, well, I have to be really good at this in order to do it, or it's silly, or, you know, I don't know. I just don't think that that's a good place to be in. So I don't even know the point. I'm trying to even think about like what the point I've been making, I guess, is that if you're struggling with fear about doing something that you want to do, that you feel an inkling towards, or maybe you don't even really know you want to do it, you just feel this draw and this fear towards something, what I would recommend to you is pray about it. If you're a person that has a faith, pray about it. You know, that's, like I said, starting off my day in prayer for the last few months. This is a habit that's really been kicked into my life within the last few months, has been a big game changer for me in terms of like my mental health and chillness and sanity and all of that. And just asking for direction and for the ability to stay open to his guidance. So yeah, that's, my camera stopped again, by the way. That's the first thing, is prayer. And then also just giving yourself the mental grace, forgiveness, I don't know what the word would be, to let your day be something that you want it to be, not just something that you think it has to be. And then to not be stopped by fear, but to notice fear and question, like, why is that fear there? Obviously, sometimes fear is in place for a healthy reason, to stop you from doing something that could be harmful. But sometimes it's not. It's just like, why is it there? I mean, really, like, to bring it back to myself, you know, being afraid of singing. That's been like, I've loved the arts my whole life. Singing, hands down, has been the number one scariest thing for me to do. Like, my mom just brought that up to me the other day. She's like, it's so funny that you're doing more of this because you've been terrified of it since you were a little girl. I'm like, I know, I don't know. It's so funny. I don't know why. I think because that fear is attached to that emotion of like, I think I just love it so much. I think I just love music, and expressing myself vocally is just terrifying for a plethora, that's the word, of reasons. But yeah, pay attention to the fear, be open to your days, changing as you feel like God wants them to change. And don't brush off the things that you're attracted to, the things that you're being pulled to, which I guess means the same thing, as being silly. Life, there's so many different lives that you could live, so many different things you could do. Like I said, I love watching videos and researching different faiths, but just different lifestyles in general. And obviously you can find so much on YouTube, and you watch videos of people and you're like, literally, there are so many different types of just paths one could take in their life. So try not to close yourself down to one path that you think that you have to be on, because A, you don't. B, if you're someone that's doing it like just to try to be dutiful and a good person, like you might actually be surprised what God wants to do with your life if you would just stop controlling it so much and you were open to what he wanted you to do and where he wanted you to go. I think you'd be surprised. Like, life could be a grand adventure, and there are so many things you can do if you're just open to not having it be whatever thing you've contrived. So, wow, that's it. I don't know if any of this was helpful. I don't know. I mean, if you guys like these, it's weird saying, let me know if you guys like this kind of videos, because I've been making videos for freaking 7 years, and I have obviously talked a lot on and off in those 7 years. But like I said, this is something that Dan has really been trying to get me to do a lot more of. And if you guys feel the same way, I guess just let me know. I don't know. And yeah, that's it. I also just, once again, am really happy that so many of you guys resonated with my the marriage video, and there will definitely be more marriage topics coming up in the future soon in life. I just didn't want to do like another marriage video back to back, but I will definitely be doing more. And who likes my ruffle shirt? Hey! And also, this room is slowly gonna get cuter. Actually, I did so much to this room, you can't even see. Like last night, I organized and threw so much away. Oh, I don't even think I had that couch last time I filmed. I don't remember. We're ordering like wallpaper for this wall today. I'm gonna be ordering a rug. Like, there's a lot happening. I'm pretty excited. But anyways, I will see you guys soon. And I just wanna say, as my final goodbye, if you are dealing with fear right now, fear of losing control, fear of doing something that you really want to do, but you think you're bad at it, or you'll never be good at it, or you just don't even know what that means, I just want to encourage you to, like I always say, keep swimming, keep going. You'd be so shocked if you just keep swimming where you'll end up on the other side, especially when you look back and you're like, I almost gave up and this was there, and the other side of that, like, whew, thank God I didn't give up. So don't give up. Just keep praying. It's, I think, amazing what prayer can do to your life, and it's just always takes effort. You just got to work at it. And the last thing is to try those things that you're afraid of, even though you feel the fear, and ignore the thoughts that say that it's silly and it's pointless, or who do you think you are? You could never do this. Ignore those thoughts, because like I said, most of the time, I feel like it doesn't even really matter, like especially in the arts. Let's just talk about that. But also, you just don't know. And because you're your own worst critic, you telling yourself you can't do something, like you very well could be wrong, and you have to accept that you might be wrong, and you might be able to do some of those things that you want to do, and that voice, it might be wrong. You might be way better than you think you are, and you have no idea. And so I just want to encourage you. So wherever you are, hope you have a great rest of the day. Hope you have a great night. Zoe is pitter-pattering around. I swear she's saying the same thing too, that she hopes you have a great night. And I'll see you guys back here with another video soon. Okay, bye guys, from Nashville, signing off.